Hello and a very warm welcome back to Northwestern Models TV, and today we're going to be building the O-Gauge GWR Platform Trolleys Kit from Skytrex. So let's get started. As with any of the kits on the Skytrex range that we've built up, they are generally all made from white metal, and this kit is no exception. This will actually be the second O-Gauge kit that I've made up. The previous one being the rail-built buffer stop kit, which you can see if you go to our homepage. So in this kit we actually have enough components to build two of the platform trolleys. So I'm only going to build one for the sake of the video, and because there's no point in me building two, but they will obviously both go together exactly the same. So what have we got in the pack? Well, we've obviously got the two main bases for the platform, which are these bits here. We have a selection of wheels as well, obviously enough for both trolleys. We have what looks like some brackety things as well on the underside. We've got the handles there, you might be able to see that, and the front steering arms as well. So I've got two of everything, which is good. So I'm just going to split those out and start by cleaning up, as always, by cleaning up the flash off the mouldings so that we've got some nice clean mouldings to work with. So I'll crack on with that and then we can look at putting it together. So I've now cleaned up the components to make the platform trolley. All I've used to clean them up is a craft knife and a needle file, purely because that is all that it requires. It's only white metal, so it's a soft metal, so yeah, that's all that is required. So to assemble this, I'm going to go through the logical way that I would personally assemble it, because these kits don't actually come with physical instructions, but it is a simple enough build, so you should be able to put it together quite easily, or quite simply just watch this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the base, which is the big piece. I'm going to turn it upside down. Now on the underside, hopefully you'll be able to see that on one side we've got a big slot put in here, and at the other end we've got a circle with a small locating hole in the middle of it. That means that we've got the front end and we've got the back end of it. So the back end is obviously going to be a fixed axle, the front end is the steering one. So if we go back to the other components, we can see with this particular piece, this has a little spigot on it and is the steering front end set of forks, because we can see on the underside of it we've got a channel for the axle to go in, and there's also two little cutouts for the handle to slot into as well. So that's the front end. This other funny shaped piece is the back end, and this will have to go in the right way around, because as you look at the profile of this piece we can see that it is shaped, and there are, right on this edge here, there are little brake blocks to go against the wheels. So I'm going to pull up a picture so I can see which way around that they actually need to go, and then we can start putting it together. Right, I've just checked the reference photos, and the little brake blocks go towards the middle of the trolley, so towards the front end of the trolley. Because how it works is, as you bring the pulling handle upwards, the brakes go on. So when you press them down, the brakes go off. There's a sort of mechanism underneath which does that, but obviously we don't need to worry about that. because this is just a basic little model. Nobody's really going to be trying to look underneath it to see how it goes together. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually going to be to fit that rear block into the back end, and to do that I'm just doing the quick dry run, make sure it all fits in nicely. It's always a good thing to do. So to glue everything together today, again I'm going to use the traditional Deluxe Materials Rocket Card glue. Not Rocket Rapid glue, my apologies. It's basic super glue and works really well on white metal kits. When I was cleaning up the components, I cleaned up around the areas where I knew there was going to be some glue going in, purely because it gives the glue something to bite into and to stick with. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue down that little trough. It's in there. So there's enough in there. Don't want a vast amount in there, but enough to hold it in. And then making sure I've got the brake blocks in the right position. Then I'm just going to drop the framework in. Just hold it for a little while. It did stand up by itself quite happily a minute ago. And it probably won't do that now. Yeah. So there we go. That's in there. So just try not to disturb it as you move on to the next stage, which is I'm actually going to put the front axle piece in, and as always, just a little dry run. Make sure that it drops in. Hopefully, you will see there that it has dropped in, and you can see if I actually try and just turn it around, you can see how it pivots around quite nicely. It might not be too obvious on the camera there, but it does actually. It will actually swing around. But I'm going to fix this one in position so I know it's not going to get lost anywhere. But it gives you the option to put the wheels at a bit of an angle for a bit of interest. And again, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the base that it sticks to, just to help, well, just to hold it in place really. There we go. So I'm now just going to put that to one side, because the next stage is going to be to fit the wheels. Now I've not actually taken the wheels off the little sprue that they came on just yet, because the first thing I wanted to do was make sure that the little brass rod, I can pick it up, that comes in the pack, you get two of these, that it actually goes through the centre of the wheels, and it does. I've actually done this before recording this, just to show you there. I'm just basically running the rod right through the middle, because if we need to open up the holes where the rod goes on, this is the time to do it before we take the wheels off their fret, because they'll be a right nightmare to hold together or hold in place while we're trying to drill the hole out. So now I've done that, I'm happy enough to release them from their fret, and to use that I'm just going to use some little side cutters which are designed for modelling. They're not really designed for heavy duty work, but because this is white metal, they're eating through them quite happily. 3, and the last one, number 4. So get rid of the fret now, and just very quickly, just going to hold it as best I can, and just run the file around where we've just cut them free, and also just over the general surface area of it, so that we've got something just to hopefully glue to, and then pop them to one side. Now I have just noticed that they do seem to be have sides on them. Now one side is sort of dished and the other side has spokes on it. Now it's the dished side which you want on the outside of the trolley, because that was how they were. They didn't generally get to see the supporting spokes on them. You always put the more decorative side on the outside of these things. It's tiny little details like that which can make all the difference. And it was only when I just started cleaning them up that I actually noticed that that difference was there. Right, so that's our 4 little wheels all ready to go, and they are quite small, and you can now see that the other components have, the glue has set on those, so that's a good thing. Right, so the next job will be to cut the brass rod down, but what I'm actually going to do first is stick a wheel on the end and see how long it needs to be against the axle area to get another wheel on, and then I'll be able to know where I need to cut it. So let's just select a wheel. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the end of the rod. Use this. And quite literally stab the wheel. There we are. And hopefully you'll be able to see on the camera that it's picked the wheel up. So before it flies off anywhere, I'm just going to drop it into the rear axle. I'm going to do the rear one first, and then slide up another wheel from the other end, just to sort of see where I need to be. I'm just going to line it up with the brake blocks or thereabouts, and then with a slightly bigger pair of cutters, I'm just going to very carefully just nudge the wheel in a tiny bit, pick it up and cut it. Now hopefully that should be the right length for there, which it is, a little bit more than actually, so I can actually take a tiny bit more of that if I wanted to, which I may well do actually. So, but I know it's only a small amount that needs to come off, so let's just take a tiny bit more off. Obviously when you are cutting bits of brass wire like this, make sure that you're aiming it down and not up in the middle of the air, because the last thing you want is a bit of wire going into yours or anybody else's eyes, because they do fly off at quite a pace. So that's the wheels nicely lined up, and so I could now glue that axle in place, and I'm just checking that the other bit of rod, yeah, I've got plenty of rod for the front end as well. So well done to Skytrax for actually providing the correct amount of brass wire, because not every kit builder or kit supplier will do that. Again, as I did the other end, just a blob of glue on the end of the wire. Stab the wheel and for now, just drop it into place just while the glue goes off in the wheels, and then I'll stick that in a little bit. So we've done one, it's exactly the same process for the other one. So I'll get the other axle built and I'll then stick them both down, and then we're ready to put the final component in. So hopefully you can see on the screen now that we've got the 4 wheels are on the underside of the trolley with the axles, and it is actually all now glued in place. So we've got one component left to go in, which is the pulling handle, and that quite literally just will slot in to the little slot at the front end there. And typically when platform trolleys were left at platforms not in use, so not being pulled around anywhere, the handles would always be pointing upwards, which should activate the brake, so they didn't roll off anywhere. So I'm going to model mine in that particular way. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue in the slot that its pegs are going into. It's a little bit tricky. And just drop it in. It's a bit of a snug fit, it goes in with a bit of a click, and then just lift the trolley up. So you can see that the handle has dropped down, and that has actually put it into the correct position for it. So that once the glue has actually set for that, which shouldn't be too far off really, because it's quite fast setting glue, we'll be able to turn it the right way up, and we should then have a completed platform trolley. Like so. And in true children's TV fashion, we have the other one, which hopefully you'll be able to see. I've put the front wheels at a bit of an angle, just to add a bit of variety to it. So that is the complete kit now made up of both of the Great Western platform trolleys. So there we go, that's how to build the O-gauge GWR platform trolleys from Skytrax. If you want your very own kit of these, do click on the link below and it'll take you through to our online store where you can find these and many other detailing kits and accessories perfect for your model railway. I hope that you've enjoyed this video today, and if you have, do make sure you give us a good thumbs up and also hit the subscribe button. And until next time, happy modelling.